Hey everyone, I'm back with a new drawing, and I remembered to record the sketch this time. Yee. So this is something I've been seeing other artists do. It's like a redrawing of this little character from this art app called Pastel Girl. So I thought I would try it. And not sponsored, but playing the app is actually really fun. And it's kind of just this cute build a character type of thing. And I do enjoy that kind of thing, so I thought this would be good practice. Honestly, I don't really like showing my sketching process just because it's really bad. But I mean, it's a sketch, it's not supposed to look good, but even so, it's kind of like just showing people your process is always kind of that feeling of like when you're drawing in public and someone's looking over your shoulder. I don't know. Do you guys enjoy watching like sketching? Because is that just me? It does take me a while to figure things out, so maybe this is just a lengthier process than I'm used to watching other artists do when I watch them do sketching. But anyway, I'm not entirely sure if this is like some people are calling this a Pastel Girl challenge. I don't know if it's so much a challenge or just I don't know, but it's fun. So I think that's pretty much the end of the sketching. As you can see, I fixed her eyes a little bit there. You know what's funny? Because I never used to like pastels. I thought they were kind of washed out and just kind of boring and I don't know. And then, like, just the last few years, I've started really embracing that aesthetic, just the really cutesy stuff. I don't know why. But I am pretty happy with where my art style is right now. All the bright colors, they just make me happy. I mean, just look at it, it's so cute. But I do want to try and do different color schemes, especially with maybe Inktober coming up. Maybe some more monochromatic colors would be kind of cool. I don't usually do like scary imagery. I'm not very good at drawing scary things, but I do want to try a few techniques for that, so maybe we'll see. Anyway, back to the actual drawing. If there is one regret I have about this sketch, it is not sketching in exactly the kind of shoe that I wanted to do. Like, I'm used to doing just these kind of like triangle boot things, and that's usually it works, but for this one, since she's wearing sneakers, I wanted to get more of that look, and I could just not figure it out. I could not figure out the shape very well with this. I probably redid the front foot like 12 times. I do cut out some of it. It was a struggle, but I do get it eventually. And while they're not perfect, you just have to let it go sometimes. It's as good as it's gonna get. But yeah, I think the shoes were really the only part that gave me trouble on this drawing. I did make a lot more characters using the Pastel Girl app, which I think turned out really cool, so I might just draw those too. I probably won't make a video out of it, but there's just something fun about drawing these. So on to the detail work. So I don't know how people draw these perfect stars first time around. I watch Lavender Town a lot, and she just makes like perfect stars first try, and I have no idea how she does it. Lots of practice, probably, but I really admire her skill and her art. Like she's a really good artist, and I love watching her videos. It's actually really inspiring too, just to see other artists out there on YouTube. It makes me feel like there's a community out there that I could be a part of, which is a really nice feeling. So as you can see, I'm doing the wavy hair again, because you know how much I loved it from the last video. But I think it worked out better this time. So right now I'm just cleaning up the line work, all the little rough edges. And I do like to taper the inside edges of hair especially. Just give it kind of a little point, make it look a little more smooth. I actually think drawing hair is probably my favorite part. I love drawing all the little waves and curls. And there's so many different kinds of hairstyles that it adds a lot of variety. I am pretty fond of the little buns on top aesthetic, actually. And here we go with more stars that I just can't draw perfectly. So if you see me moving the little moon hairpiece around, it's because it kept lining up exactly with the curves of the hair. And if it does that, it makes it harder to see where the defining line is. And so it's better just to have it not line up. So I had to redraw it a bit. So the app actually has all these little animals you can add, which I think is a really cute extra detail. I had to add the little cat. Although the coloring on this one was a bit tricky because it was more of the gray and white when it was a little darker than the rest of the pastels. So I actually lighten it up in the end to make it a little less dark gray. I've said before I don't draw animals a whole lot, so sometimes they're a little tricky to get the bodies quite right. But I think it turned out pretty good. I did debate whether giving it a nose or not. It doesn't have a nose in the original, it is just too simplified. But, I mean, both are really cute. I do wish I had done something a little different with the eyes. Maybe make the pupils blue or something. But that's just a small little detail. And I'm flipping it once more for good measure, just to check to see if all the little details are off at all, which they sometimes are. So it's good just to check and make those changes before you color, because it's really hard to change them after everything's colored and shaded. When I was making her, I also did consider having her hold the little coffee mug, but I kind of liked the hands in the pockets kind of thing, where she's just walking home from school or something. I did flat color the hair just a blonde as a base, and then overlaid the pastel colors on top of that. I probably would have been fine if I just left her blonde, actually. I don't know if the colors in her hair ended up being a little much. But it is a pastel girl, and she needs pastel hair to be a pastel girl, doesn't she? So here's the dark gray on the cat. It's a little too dark. I think it washes out the eyes, which is probably why I wanted to make them more blue. I also make it harder on myself by having the white background and trying to color the cat white at the same time, instead of making the background gray. I don't know why I don't do that. Maybe I like the challenge. So for me, shading isn't my favorite thing to do. I know that's some people's favorite part, but it's not mine. I think my favorite part is probably the line work, actually. Like I said, the initial sketch is kind of a mess, so I always look at it and think, wow, this is not turning out how I want. But then when I get to the line work, it starts to look more like what I picture. So I think that's probably my favorite part. I don't really have a least favorite part, I don't think. I mean, I enjoy the whole process of drawing, obviously, or I wouldn't do this all the time. I guess the only hard part is when I struggle with getting the shapes right, like drawing the hands the way I want. But that's probably about it. So I did put the pastels in the hair. They're not in the same order because the shape is different, but that's not that important. I also changed the outline to a color, which I usually do. But I kind of end up liking the black better. I think it may have washed the image out a little too much. So add some shadows and we're done. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like if you like, leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Till the next video.